Here we are, FTHP 410, week 6. We're talking about sales. It's Friday, February 20th. We are graced by Ty Aarons. Ty's the man. Ty was in your shoes, what, Ty, 8 years ago? 6, 10? I can't remember, man.
I feel I think about 9, probably almost 10. That's crazy.
Yeah, Ty always had boundful energy, not unlike me and Holly. And so it's no surprise to me that he's incredibly successful. You've already met him once last semester. You met this group last semester in Jesse's marketing class.
I believe so, yeah.
Floor is yours, amigo.
Okay, spectacular. So we're gonna start off like this. I'm the founder of MITM Club. I help my clients master their fitness and finance so they can live their dream lives. And I only work with limited folks per year, only about 10 people per year on average. Let me just make sure this is the right one. Perfect. Now you guys can see my face there. Now, today's talk is going to be from conversations to commitments, right? And I'm going to share the roadmap with you for sales, specifically for personal trainers and folks within the fitness industry. We're going to go over the roadmap framework. It'll be a reminder for some of you. Some of you else may be seeing it for the first time. And it's actually evolved quite a bit since the last time I shared it with y'all, the last time I presented it for you guys, right? So there's some more nuances. Now, the first question I asked before we even hit record was, when you hear the word sales, what comes to mind for you? And the reason why I asked that is because so many people have a certain emotion around sales, the word sales. Some people say, oh no, it's pushy. Some people say you feel fear around it. Maybe you think of entrepreneurship, maybe you think of products, but a lot of folks are like, I don't want to be a salesperson. I don't want to push sales on people. But there's an interesting thing when it comes to sales. Now, sales is not persuasion. Sales is structured clarity, right? And if you guys start to shift your mindset around being good at sales and helping people align their desires with the outcome that they want, like you're just bridging the gap, you'll realize that it's your ethical duty to be good at sales and to help connect people with what they want. We're not selling workouts, okay? We're not selling reps and sets. You're actually selling clarity, structure, and a pathway forward for people to actually get to where they want to get to, all right? So anytime someone says they want to change their life, your job is not to convince them, okay? That if you try to convince something into something that they don't want to do, that's unethical. That's where we start to feel that weirdness around sales. But your main goal is to help them decide what they want and to best align themselves with the future reality that they do want. If you want to buy a car, you want to buy the car. The salesperson is just helping you decide what car you want to buy. And if they're doing a good job, they get you in the right car at the right price, right? It's not, yeah, take this beater just because I can sell it to you type of thing if they're doing their job ethically. Now, by the end of today, here's a couple things that I want to make sure you guys understand, you walk away with. So, first and foremost, I want you to define and analyze a target market in your fitness sales. It's so much easier to make sales when you know exactly who you're talking to and what their pain points are. You're going to apply structure to pre-sale preparation techniques. And I'm going to show you live some of the ways that I do that have actually increased. Right now, I'm operating out of a good life and I'm there to test my frameworks. In the first month of me being there, I changed something pretty big for the company, which is pretty cool. You're going to implement the roadmap consultation framework. You're going to interpret client barriers and objections, and you're going to be able to construct and present a clear transformation prescription for your clients. So I hope you guys are excited for this, and let's keep it rolling. The first thing you have to do is you have to know exactly what you're selling and who it is that you're serving. If you know what you're selling, and you could say it forwards, backwards, and jump at any point within the sales process of exactly what you do, and you know who you're doing it for, you've already won 90% of the battle. All right? And let's break that down a little bit more for y'all. Before any consultation, you have to know what you offer and who it's for. If it's unclear, you're going to feel scattered in that sales process. All right? For me, I have a layered system. So, yes, I sell personal training, but it's a limited model, only 10 people per year. Inside of trainings, I do body scans, I do movement analysis, and I really try to help make sure my clients know exactly where they are. If they don't qualify to work or to be one of my 10 people, then they get funneled into group training. And a lot of people can qualify for that, whether it's how much money they're earning that they can actually afford it, whether it's the time allocation, whatever it may be. If they can't go into personal training or group training, then I'm like, hey, here's some online coaching for you guys. The best price thing If you're a little more self-sufficient, help you get to where you want to get to. And then there's long-term transformation planning, which is more on a consulting basis. Each service plays a specific role. Specifically for my clients and who I serve, it makes it a lot easier to have these different buckets that I can serve as many of my dream clients as possible. Now, you're not selling sessions, you're actually selling progressions. Okay? Every service fits into a transformation pathway, and clarity in offer creates confidence in delivery, right? When you know exactly what you're selling, it's that much easier to just say, hey, for you, you qualify for boot camp for you. Hey, for you, this, that, you actually really need personal training. I feel bad even letting you go into boot camp because your movements are so terrible. Who knows what it may or may not be. Okay. So we're gonna talk a little bit about targeting specific clients, and I do want to see some participation here, but I'm gonna run through this with Chels. If you were to approach this gentleman, question is, how would you, or who do you think he is, and what do you think some of his needs are? All right. Okay. Take
Banker.
one more. Anyone else think what might this person be?
He looks like he works in sales for sure.
Yeah, so we got
But we're
businessman,
judging, of course.
lots of sitting during the day. We got collects watches, maybe. Okay, if we take banker and sitting a lot of the day, we can start to break down some problems that this person's gonna have. Maybe they have lower back pain. Maybe they have very tight hip flexors. Maybe they want to look a certain way, present a certain way when they're in meetings, right? They want people to see them in a certain way. So you can start to talk about those things. If this was your ideal client, you would know all the problems that they have. In fact, a lot of my clients are in finance. I mainly serve women 25 to 45 that are in the financial services industry, and I know what their problems are, right? So I can actually go and talk to them piece by piece. Okay, let's look at another one real quick. How about this lady here? What do y'all think she does, or like some issues she may be dealing with? We got parental leave, at home mother, poor sleep. Yup. So we can start to say, okay, hey, she's a new mom. Maybe she has like postpartum depression. Maybe she's dealing with her body not bouncing back the way she wants. You could start to look at, hey, this is what her needs are. This is how I can best serve her. And then when you go into the sales call or sales presentation, you're just looking to help all the problems that she has. And some of y'all may specialize in that. You might get certifications that help that person, right? You might get different things where you're like, I've helped this many moms. Makes the sale so much easier. When you look at each of these client types, yes, they ideally should move more. Yes, they should ideally have more flexibility. There's certain things that they all need to have generally, but they have specific needs that if you're able to touch on, it makes the sales process so much simpler. We're going to go even deeper into that right now. All right. For me, psychographic also matters a lot. People who are stuck, people who have tried before and feel like they're failing, people who need more structure, okay, people who value elite support. The more you specify the problems that they have, even mentally, the easier it is to talk to them. Okay. Oh, this is a burnt out mom. She's feeling really low energy. She's feeling depressed. She doesn't feel like she's connecting with her friends as much because now she's dealing with that. It's easier to now bridge the gap for her to her desired reality. All right. And we can create that. Okay. So the foundation is preparation before the sale. The more you prepare to meet with a client, the easier it is to make the sale. All right. And there's many different ways that you can prepare. And we're going to touch on some of those and we're going to walk through how you guys can do that actually just now. So the sale is actually won before the consultation. Most trainers just wing it. They're like, hey, thanks for hopping in the gym. I'm going to give you a tour of the gym and we're going to jump into a sale. I'm going to try and sell you something right away. But that's trying to marry someone before you date them. Who would do that? Or many people wouldn't. I'm not judging if you do, but many people wouldn't do that nowadays, right? This is where so many folks, they go straight to price. We're not selling reps and sets. We're selling a dream outcome. And the more you prepare, the more authority you have. So when you walk in the room, I've even had to wing this. Like I had someone walk in, I did a quick consultation with them, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do this right now. I did a quick consultation. I said, hey, I'll be back in 5 minutes. I stepped out of the room, prepared back for the sale. By the time I walked back in, I had my entire process set up in a way where there was no way that they weren't saying yes, and I ended up closing them. So even a little bit of preparation will help you so much more. And I want to share this with you guys. Now, I'm not sure if you guys already got access to all the forms and everything, but I'm going to show you guys what my client intake form looks like really quickly. I strongly suggest that when you step into sales, because that's what our industry has, you should have something like this for when you're talking with and meeting with clients. So I like to build authority first. Okay, before we begin, think about where you are now. Maybe you're feeling stuck, unmotivated, or unsure about how to reach your fitness goals. Now imagine where your workouts are purposeful, your progress is measurable, and your results are undeniable. Ooh, they're already thinking about them first. I don't talk about me yet. It's just about them. Okay, now I introduce. I'm Ty. I'm the founder of the MITM Club and the author of the book Stop Drifting and what I call a discipline architect. I help my clients master their fitness and finance so they can live their dream lives, not someday, but deliberately. This intake form is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Please complete it thoroughly, honestly, because your information stays private and is used solely to support your transformation. This is what people get before they even do anything else working with me in the gym. I set a certain level of authority. I've also showed that it's about you in the beginning, a little blurb about me, and then more about you. Because everyone likes that one radio station, WIIFM. If y'all have heard it, what's in it for me? And the more you talk about them, the better it is. Okay. So I take down some basic information. We go through some occupation. Like most of this information, if you guys remember your PAR-Q, this is your PAR-Q, your physical activity readiness questionnaire. Now, I want to know more about their background. Have you worked with a trainer before? What type of exercise have you done? How often are you exercising? These are all markers that I'm already looking at so that if there are objections in the future, I can overcome them with ease. They're already giving me all the things that they're going to object to later. I'm looking to see how am I even going to gear this workout for them so that they're loving it every moment, okay, when I give them the sample workout. Nutrition, we talk about a bit of nutrition so I can pinpoint some problems they may or may not be having with nutrition. Mental and emotional wellness, we touch on this. Hey, how's your stress? What are your preference for training times? So now I could already start to block in my calendar what times am I going to book this person or what am I going to try and sell them on. And if I don't have the time, maybe I try and sell them for another trainer that has time slots. What are your goals? This is very important. Weight loss, muscle gain, et cetera, et cetera. What are your main goals? And then timeline. Okay, now all of this up to this point is pretty much standard in the fitness industry. Some trainers will use it, some trainers don't. But here's where I do things a little bit differently. And I found that this has a little more emotional resonance with prospects that make them want to say yes because they're like, oh, this guy cares. And speaking of this guy cares, I don't normally write this on the form. Before I even open up this document at the very top, or before I even have this printout ready, at the very top, I say, hey, today I'm gonna ask you the most difficult question right off the bat. Oh, it's gonna be a really hard question for you to answer, okay? All right, are you ready? You ready for the question? How are you feeling today on a scale of 1 to 10? And I give them a big smile. Right? Just to make it a little lighter, a little silly, right? And then I ask them what's something they're grateful for, what's something that they're proud of, what's something that they're excited about. Those three things that are not included on the form directly shows that I care about them as a human first, and then we get into everything else. Okay, so forgot to add that in here, but that's something that I do with all of my clients and prospects just because it builds that human connection first before we go into business. Okay, let's continue to the a little bit more in-depth part, right? So now fitness reflection. What's the number one thing you need or want most when it comes to your fitness right now? What's the biggest fear or concern when it comes to your health and fitness journey? What do you deeply desire when it comes to your body and fitness lifestyle? This is what success looks like for you. Tell me about a time that you tried. So you tried something and it didn't work. Okay, then what else did you try? And why didn't that work? And then what else did you try? And why didn't that work? After you tried all these things, what was the most frustrating thing? They're already giving me all of the things that would help sell them before we've even gotten to anything else. All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? Anything specific you'd like to see covered in your consultation? I just want to give you exactly what you want. You want to learn how to fix form? Great. I'm going to help you fix form. I'll include it into what I'm going to do with you. All right. Give them exactly what they're asking for. That's what makes sales so much easier. And then, would you like to be notified when a one-on-one spot becomes available? I've already told them I only work with X amount of people per year. I can't handle more people than that. But would you like, if we actually vibe, do you want me to tell you when I have a spot open? Then we can talk and I can maybe squeeze you in. It changes it from, please buy from me to, hey, if you want to buy from me, cool. I got a bunch of people lined up. It's a different conversation, right? It puts you into that authority space, makes it a lot easier. And then you get them to sign, okay, that everything is correct. All right. And then we go into the roadmap. So let me hop back over here. And we're going to go into the roadmap framework now. For those of you that don't know, roadmap stands for review, organize, align, define. And the newest letter is decide. And we're going to talk a little bit about decision today. And then you go into a massive action plan.
Ty, can I
90%.
share one piece before you move on?
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that I really like the idea of the tiered triage to start. Like if someone doesn't qualify for your PT because you can only keep 10 clients, that's all you have intention and space for, then you tier them down into another level or boot camp or something. And having that framework is so helpful because you don't lose sales where there might be one.
Exactly. And I found that moving them down into a lower tier lets me continue to nurture them. And so folks that have joined my boot camp, they're training, they realize they're not progressing as much as everyone else. Then they're like, could I try some more personal training again so I can be better in boot camp? So that it helps you continue to nurture people for a longer term. And it's easy. Boot camp is out of 10 people, quick program, whatever. Push people, have fun, more community building, and it builds you as even more authority. Okay, we're going to continue with the roadmap. Let me switch over. Continuation. Step one in roadmap is to review. Okay, we're going to diagnose reality. Where are you now? Where are you headed if nothing changes? And where do you actually want to go? For those of you that remember this from the finance talk, same thing. How much money do you make now? What are your finances looking like? Where are you going versus where you want to go? Are you going to be rich? Are you going to be broke? Who knows? But we can take it and use it with our fitness clients. It's crazy. So where are you now physically? Wow, you have really high blood pressure. Wow, you're at like 40% body fat. This is not the best. Your visceral fat is at 8 to 10 pounds. We got to change this. If nothing changes, the high cholesterol, the heart, this and that, all these problems are probably what's going to happen. Versus where do you actually want to go? You're just going to continually press on what their desires are, right? As we continue to diagnose reality, use their words. So really pay attention, really listen to when they're describing how they feel, what they think, like what they're going through. Really listen. Oh, you mentioned feeling stuck. Tell me more about that. You said consistency has been a struggle, and this is how I'm going to help you with that. Very easy, right? And if you get them to articulate it, them to say it, it's they're just telling you how to sell them. Okay. Now here's something fun that I do with my clients and my prospects. You get I tell themselves, hey, I'm your fitness genie. All right. I'm your fitness genie. And in the next 1 year, I could grant you 3 fitness wishes. What are they? And they'll tell me their 3 big goals. And I say fitness genie because I want them to go back to being like more, I want them to be more playful in the session. So it's not so serious, businessy. I'm like, what do you want from life? What's your dreams? Tell me. Don't worry about timeline. Don't worry about whatever. What do you want? And after you tell me what you want, I'll be able to best help guide you to where to, if it's one, what the timeline would be. Because you say you want to drop X amount of body fat percentage within 2 months, I can make it happen. But you better be here 7 days a week. You got to be strict with your food. You got to be like, it's possible, but maybe it's too extreme. And you tell them exactly what it would take, right? So I tell them, fitness genie, 3 wishes. What do you want? When they tell me what they want, I say, okay, why? Why do you want that? And there's a concept. I actually first learned this in the Millionaire Success Habits, or I think it's Habits or Secrets, but it's a really good book. And they say to actually get to your true goals, you have to ask yourself why 7 times. All right. And when we ask ourselves why 7 times, it all the BS flows away. You're finally real with yourself. But in the consultations, I don't have time to do why 7 times because that's like a lot of soul searching and going way too in depth. So I say about 3 times, right? About 3 times ends up working out pretty nicely. And I say, why do you want that? Do you want to be down to 15% body fat? Why do you want that? Do you want to be able to run your marathon in X amount of time? Why do you want that? And then they tell me why. I was like, okay, that's cool. Okay, why does that matter to you? Why does that matter? Why do you, once again, why do you want that? But why does it matter? And then they tell me more, oh, I want this because a lot of the guys, I want to get down to lower body fat percentage. I want girls to like me. That's what happens. Okay, why is that important? Oh, because whatever. Okay, and then why is it important for you? And you can shift this based on how they respond to each question. It doesn't have to be why every time or why do you want that or what. You can shuffle it around based on the person you're sitting with. I've had some people that get way too conceptual with it. And like, yeah, it's just it's hard to pinpoint their ideas, but you want something tangible. They say, how long would you like to have that? How long do you think it would take to get that? Tell me your timeline. All right. And then you want to dig until you hit identity. You want to keep on asking them over and over until you actually get something real and tangible. Now, what does it mean to dig until you hit identity? Surface, someone says, I want to lose 15 pounds. Well, that's great. Who cares about 15 pounds? Why do you want to lose it? I just want to lose 15 pounds just a little bit. But after we ask why 3 times, maybe 4 if you really need to, the truth is, oh, I avoid pictures. I don't like the way I look in pictures. That identity of wanting to be someone that is excited to be in pictures, they just gave you a nugget to help you with your sales. Okay. You're going to say, hey, this is how I'm going to help you get to where you want to be. And they're shifting their identity already. They already start to mentally think of who they want to become in the future. You want to lose 15 pounds because you want to feel good in pictures. You want to feel more confident in those group pictures. You don't want to go on vacation and be embarrassed about all the photos you took and not want to share them with people. And these are conversations I've had with clients. Okay. And now we want to start to qualify the commitments that they're choosing to make. Let me jump ahead. So we said, okay, you want to lose 15 pounds because you want to look good in pictures. Where are you now? I'm not going to tell you where you are. We just did our body scan. We just did our movement analysis. We just did our assessments. Where are you now? On a scale of 1 to 10, give me a rating. What would you say? It's not for me to pass judgment. You tell me where you are. Okay, cool. Maybe I'm 40% body fat, so I feel like a 4 out of 10 right now. Thank you for being like honest and sharing that. It must have been very vulnerable to even say that out loud. Give them some acknowledgement. And it's okay. Where do you want to be? Where would you like to get to? Oh, I'd like to get to at least 15%. Okay. What would you be out of 10 if you were there? Oh man, I'd be like a 9. I'd be so happy. Okay. All right. So 4 out of 10 up to 9. Okay, let's see how we can make that happen. How important is this for you if you were to rate that on a scale of 1 to 10? Oh, and I'll think I have it on the next one. Yeah. How important is this for you? And why is that important? I'm still trying to just really get more information of why is this important for you as we organize, align, and define their goals for them, right? And then you got to say, hey, you said you want, this is an 8 out of 10 important, this is a 9 out of 10 important for you to go from 40% to 15% body fat. Why did you say 8 and not like a 1 or 2? And you flip the question around on them like this. If they anything above a 6, it's easy to do this with. If they say like it's a 1 or 2 out of 10, then it's not a real goal. You didn't find something that's important enough for them, right? Because 1 or 2, I don't care, it's whatever. 8 out of 10, ooh, that could be life changing. Why is it 8 out of 10 and not 1 or 2 out of 10? And their job is to now defend it. No, this is important. I wouldn't come to the gym if I didn't want to be in shape. They start to defend it for you. They start to sell themselves for you. You're not trying to sell anything anymore. You're just connecting them with where they want to get to, right? They're now selling you why you should sell them. No, this is so important. I've been this way my whole life. I'm so sick of being like this. I need to change. Whatever. All right. Make sure you're writing down notes. Oh, thank you for sharing. Acknowledge them. You know what? I totally hear that. Do your best to not pass any judgment. Just acknowledge what they say as it is. Oh, that's really interesting. Oh, thank you for sharing. Oh, look, give me 1 sec. Write down your notes and actively write down notes. People feel more heard. So now when you go to show them whatever the opportunity is or offer is, they're like, no, this guy was paying attention for the last hour. He actually cares about what my problems are. Okay, gap creation. So all this stuff was maybe happening when you're sitting down with someone. Okay, you get up and you go to the gym floor now. You're gonna look at physical contrast. What I do, I take folks through 5 core movements: an overhead dowel squat, right? Push up, a body weight squat with hands on the shoulders, a bent over row. Sometimes I'll slip in burpees just because people hate them. It's something we could both laugh about. Oh man, those are so terrible. And I'll run them through a short AMRAP where it's like 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off, 3 rounds, 3 movements, super quick. So they're winded. And I'm like, okay, how do you feel after that? Half the people after going through the AMRAP, they got to take 2 laps around the gym. They're so dead. The other half people are like, okay, that was really tough. I never worked out so hard. I'm like, yeah, that was only 6 minutes. That was the hardest. You never worked out that hard? Oof. I'll show you something. And then you show them the videos. So for the 5 movements, you're filming from the front, from the side, and the other side. And you're showing them, hey, look, this is what you're doing right. And I always start with, this is what you're doing terribly as a drug. I'm like, yeah, or I'll start with, yeah, this is good, that's good. And every time I go to push-ups, because everyone push-ups are terrible, I'm like, Yeah, your push-ups suck. I give them a smile, laugh of it, huh? Playful. Okay, you want to illuminate and not embarrass them. And they're seeing it. They're like, oh my God, I didn't realize my movements were so bad. And we have to do it this way. We have to create the gap because without a gap, there's no urgency. It doesn't matter. Why are you there if there's no gap? They wouldn't have come to the gym if there wasn't a gap. You're just really trying to show them, oh, you thought you were here, but you're actually way back here. Or you thought you're here, but you're actually even lower. And this is how we're gonna get you up and beyond. All right. Okay, let's fast forward into our next phase. This one, guys, I'm gonna need some participation. We got 22 people in here. I really need the participation on this one, okay? There's 3 birds on the wire, okay? 2 of them chose to fly away. How many birds are left? I need you guys to drop it in the chat for me. There's 3 birds on the wire. 2 of them chose to fly away. How many birds are left? Left alive? We're left on the wire. 3. Okay. 1 on the wire, 2 in the air, 3 remaining. Okay. Okay. These are some interesting ways to say it. Okay. 2 left. 2 chose to fly away. They left the wire. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see what it is. Let's see what the answer is. Drum roll, please. The answer is, I didn't put it up here, but the answer is there's still 3 birds. And there's a difference between choosing and deciding. And this is something that you want to walk your clients through. All right. And I'll show you guys the definitions. Choose, right, was an old English word, picked out, test, or approve, to taste, try, examine, right? There's multiple opportunities and options here. You're going to sample, you're going to test, and maybe you take something. Maybe you do something about it. That's choose, right? Decide, day is off, and seder is to cut. So decide means to cut off. So when you're deciding something, you just walk them through all of their dream lives, all their goals, all the things they want. You ask them, hey, are you deciding? Because they have to cut away all other options. You're saying, no, I'm here. I'm in it. I'm ready to rock. I've been living this way for too long. It's unacceptable. I've made this decision. I've made the active decision to decide to change my life. Okay. And the core difference is when you choose, you're selecting amongst other things, deciding we're cutting off all the options. Okay. And the way I like to really showcase this is to say you're burning the boats. Transformation requires you to say, I'm burning the boats. So there's no going back. That old me's dead. I'm going to go home. I'm going to clear out my pantry because I've decided. And I got to get all those sweets and deliciousness out of my house. I've decided. They're choosing to step into a new identity. And what I do with folks, I get them to say it out loud. I get them to write it down. I get them to sign it. After we've looked at all the roadblocks, all the things that may get in the way, say, I'm deciding to commit to my transformation today. And that written commitment makes them even more invested in their own change. I'm not even worried about the sale. I'm just focused on what do you want? Who do you want to be? What's your dream vision of yourself? Let's build that together. We're a team over here. All right. It's not me trying to sell to you and try to get money out of you. It's me trying to figure out what your dreams are and see what the best fit is to get you to your dream goals, to your dream life, to your dream reality. And when you do that, then people are there. I had one person apologizing to me because he couldn't afford the training. And I'm like, it's okay. Don't even worry. And we finished the session. I gave him all this stuff. I'm like, hey, man, great job. Blah, blah, blah. If you ever need help, reach out to me. And as I'm leaving the room, he's like, but I'm so sorry. No, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I really want to, I just can't afford it. I'm like, it's okay. Don't worry. I left. I went to a different part of the gym. He came to find me. I'm so sorry. I can't, I'm like, it's okay. It's okay, man. You don't have to buy from me. It's not a big deal. It's okay. And using this framework that I'm sharing with you guys, that's how I was able to build that type of connection, that type of relationship, that type of desire so strong in it. Who apologizes for not being able to buy something like that? I don't know if y'all's heard of that before. It's a nice position to be in. Okay, let's hop into massive action plan real quick, right? After you go through all of this, you're going to prescribe, okay? We are fitness professionals. We're health specialists. You should imagine yourself being one step away from being a doctor. Whatever you're sharing to your clients is a prescription. And if you consider it through this lens, you're not just making workout programs, you're prescribing how they're going to change their lives. And there's a couple different ways. I try to make this more general for y'all because I'm not sure what path you're going to go down in life. But maybe your prescription is personal training and personal programming. Maybe that's one prescription. Okay. Maybe another one is memberships. So we went through all this stuff. Maybe it was less in depth with all their goals, but you need the elite membership or you need like the flex membership or you need whatever based on what gym you're working on. You just want to give them exactly what's going to serve them best. Yes, think about the bottom line of the gym, but also think about what's going to best serve them. It's going to make them very excited to come back and do more business with you and tell all their friends and everyone else. You know what? A lot of the gym really wants us to push this one, this membership. It's the most expensive one. I don't think that's the right fit for you at all. I think this one over here is actually gonna be much better. So you can show up and that it lets people really say, "Oh, this guy's looking out for me. He's not just trying to make a buck." And the last one is softwares. You can use all these same frameworks through softwares. It's a little bit different with software. You really have to really dial in your dream client and understand their problems on a deep level. So most of this process will be done through videos, through online like landing pages, et cetera, because you may not be able to talk with everyone. So you really have to get into their mind so that digitally, without you being there, you're already covering all of these steps. Maybe there's a form, there's a questionnaire, there's a quiz, there's a whatever. There's a whole process you take them through digitally that you don't have to be there for that makes them say, "Oh, pick me." Put their hand up. Oh no, I'm that person. You got me. Yeah, I'm that person. Okay, and I wanted to walk you guys through another example real quick. All right. So I'm going to share my screen again. And I know this one's a little small, but this one don't this is like a prompt that you guys can actually put into AI that will help you with your sales process. So I'm gonna copy this and I'm putting it into Google Gemini. It doesn't matter what AI you use. Okay. It's all gonna be similar. Okay. Over here I have step 2. I used AI to generate a sample client for me. So I'm gonna copy this information for the sample client. Let's hope that Gemini is gonna do exactly what I want. I paste my sample client information in there. Okay. And then I hit enter. Let's see. Perfect. Okay. So this is actually giving me exactly for this person. I have no idea who this person is. I just copied everything and pasted everything. And I just asked AI to help me make a 1 year transformation program for like outline for them. Now, the reason why I do it like this is not talking about training. The only thing that this is talking about is their dream lives and where they want to get to versus where they are. Okay. So I sit down with the person now. I say, yeah, who's this? What's her name? Daniela? Daniel? I think Daniel. All right. So yeah, Daniel, you've been stuck. You've been high stressed. You know, you've been working 50 hours a week. This is where you're at. Okay. It's not about the 15 pounds. It's about recovering our identity. And I'm gonna walk you through these phases. Okay. So this is exactly what we're gonna do in phase 1. We're gonna build your foundation. We're gonna restore your movements. Okay. We're gonna get rid of that pain you've been having, that posture problems you've been having, and the what and building the and we're gonna build your habit floor. I would change the wording, obviously, right? We just did this quickly, but I'm like, look, in these months, you're gonna move better. You're not gonna feel like failing because we're gonna have 3 sessions a week focused on perfecting your form, right? These non-negotiables. I know you said that time has been tough for you, but we're gonna be non-negotiable with it, just like the board meetings you gotta go do. All right, you're gonna have these wins. Blah blah blah. You take this into your sales meeting, okay? You walk in with this that covers everything that they wanted. We're not even really talking about workouts, right? You're like, hey, look, 3 to 5 dinners out per week. We're gonna make sure you can still socialize and enjoy the scale moving. You talk to them back exactly what they want. You show a client this outline of a year, and you're like, yo, that's crazy. This sounds like it's for me. And at the end, you're like, okay. So with that being said, with that in mind, let's get started. It's gonna take this or that, right? And you walk them through this. Now, ChatGPT will spit it out a little differently, but for the most part, this is what I walk into most of my sales meetings with. Clients are shocked with this. And I'll shift it. That one that I was telling you about earlier, where I'm like, it was an impromptu one. It was super quick. I'm like, hey, give me 5 minutes. Because I did speech to text. I took all of the information that I had with the person, speech to text, threw it into the AI quickly, spit this out, went back into the meeting and closed the sale. Because then I was like, she was getting excited because I was saying the exact word she said to me back to her. You wanted that, you wanted this, you wanted that, you wanted this. This is how we're gonna do that. This is a timeline. It has to shift a little bit, but this is how we're gonna get it. And whatever, right? Now, moving forward, you're gonna obviously hear some objections. You don't just say, let's get
But
started.
Ty, one
Yeah,
sec. Ty, you have a lot of confidence on your delivery. And I love that you just showed, as I mentioned in the chat, like an actionable use for all of the data you've taken in. You used AI, and that should absolutely help you in those moments where decisions have to be made. You sell and you're personable and you've got a little bit of experience. You,
this is true.
might that be tricky for people? That might be tricky for people who are newer into the industry. Yes.
Yes. And sometimes when you're talking with folks, like just practicing talking with folks can be a little difficult. But if you use a script, if you have a sales script, like I actually made one before, I'm like, these are all like based on this person, what are all the objections that they might have? What are all the objections they might have? And then I used that to go into the meeting, and I was like, oh wow, this is so accurate. Every objection the person had was art like pretty much on that list. And because I put that information in, the AI spit back out based on what they might say, and then you start to overcome. And everyone's gonna have to use their personality, their skills to then sell in their own way. I joke a lot. I smile probably too much for my own good, right?
Oh, smiling is all good, man.
It's
But
really
I hear you.
it's
It's
yeah,
having the script to cling to. It's like a safety wrap that you can always tie back to, and it obviously prepares you for those moments to respond in the moment.
exactly. It just it simplifies it because then you're not trying to figure out what to say next. It's already there. And one thing that I'll actually add, I didn't put this in, but I'm just remembering. More times than not, I try to get a small sale first. I don't try to get a big sale right away. I just want people to be comfortable giving me some form of money to start, whether it's like you sign up for a 14-day pass for the gym or a 2 sampler session. And speaking of the sampler session, at the Madison, it's the location I'm at right now by Young and Shepherd. And I picked that location specifically because it's like the second finance district of Toronto. Because a lot of the big banks are around there. So I'm trying to work with people in finance. So I picked it specifically. When I got there, I noticed all the trainers were just trying to sell 1 year packages right away. But like I said earlier, it's like trying to marry someone before you date them. So what I started doing, there's something called a PT sampler. It's just 2 sessions with me. But 2 more hours is a lot more time for me to have my personality shine and for you to fall in love with me and want me to be your trader. So I'm like, okay, if I sell that instead, just focus on selling that, it gives me more time to build out, figure out who this person is, see if I want to work with them. My first month working with Good Life, it's the first time in the history of the company I met with over 112 people. I sold over 54 sampler sessions. Okay. Because I was more focused on let's just do something that's not big commitment right now. And then we'll look at, hey, does it make sense for us to work with each other long term? Do I like you enough? Do you like me enough? Do you like my training style? Did you get enough value? Did I provide enough value in those 2 sessions? Realistically, by the end of the first session, I've already made all of this information to then sit down with them and talk with them. If they don't buy on that one, I have one more opportunity to try and sell them. And then I put them in my sales continuum, right? So this is how I built out the boot camp quickly at the Good Life. No one else wanted to do boot camp. They said it's too hard. But I was like, if you have the right systems, it's a bit easier. But let's talk a little bit about objections now. We'll hop into that. So the first one, okay, price. A lot of people say, oh, it's too expensive. No, it's not too expensive. It's that you doubt the outcome. You didn't realize how much money you're saving or how much value they're actually getting out of it. You didn't provide enough value. So if someone says it's too expensive, sometimes it is too expensive. Like that one guy that's like apologizing to me, no, I really don't have the money, but like I really want it, but I can't. Sometimes they don't have the money, but more times than not, it's just not enough value. Because if they really cared about it, they'd be like, yo, I'm canceling this subscription. I'm not eating out. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Like I'm overhauling my life. I will find the money to train with you no matter what. So they doubt the outcome. That's the first thing. And you may have to circle back and go back to their why. You said it's a 9 out of 10. Then like this, what is the price? Okay, the next one is time. People say, oh, I don't really have time. Before you even hop into time, you should be having the conversation of, yo, there's certain commitments. The first commitment is how much time can you be here? How much times a week? You already said it in the intake. You're coming to the gym 4 times a week. We're only going to meet for 2 or 3, right? So you're already looking at objections from before. And you don't want to say things in a way where it's like you're being argumentative. Where you're like, oh, I thought that this was I thought this was like a 10 out of 10 important for you. You're already coming to the gym this many days. You could actually come less if you're working with me and you'll get more out of it because you're going to have more dialed in workouts. The final one is fear and past wounds. And this one, a lot of times people won't say it to you up front. You have to dig a little bit using the why method. Why is that? What happened? Why? What? Go a little bit deeper, listen, acknowledge, go a little bit deeper. All right. After you go to all these things, keep returning to their why. If you're getting more objections, return to the gap, return to the importance of their goals. Keep on cycling those. More times than not, if you actually ask why, they'll say, oh, okay, this is why. And then maybe you probably get the sale. Now, an interesting thing, I actually learned this. I think it was called How I Took Myself from Failure to Success in Sales. Great book. Forget who the guy's name is. I think it's something Betcher. Yeah. So what he did, he actually has this thing where he's like, oh, okay, since you're not going to buy from me, everything's good. And he's about to walk out. And as he touches the doorknob, he's like, yeah, since you're not buying, what was that? What was the main reason why you didn't want to buy anyways? And because now everyone's guards down, it's like, yeah, I'm getting out of this sales thing. I'm chilling. They'll normally tell you. And then you're like, oh, that's the final objection. Let me help you with that. And a lot of times they will tell you, they're like, oh yeah, this sale, this is done. I'm out of here. I don't care anymore. Okay, all right. It's a shame we're not going to work together. Thank you for stopping by, blah, blah, blah. Turn around, get ready to leave. One last question. Like, what was the real reason? What was like that last thing? I know we're not going to buy, but this is how I got so many more people just to join the boot camp. I know you're not going to buy. It's all good. But what was like the real thing? What was the real reason why you don't want to do this today? And you'll be surprised how many people, oh yeah, it was actually just this. Oh, so if I could help with that, would you want to join? Would you want to start? If I could solve that one problem, would you then want to join? And then they're, oh, yeah. There's no more objections anymore. That's not what you can do. As a review overview or a big review, the roadmap is review, organize, align, define, decide, and then make a massive action plan for the person so we can now interrupt their indecision and help them stop drifting and live a more meaningful life. Like in the fitness industry, you guys are changing lives one day at a time. You're absolutely helping so many folks out. And it's important that you do your best to help folks. And that pretty much takes us to the end. I did throw out my book. In my book, Stop Drifting, it's just been published. I go more in depth on each of the frameworks. We talk about Whoop planning. We talk a lot more in depth about the self and having deeper understanding and how that translates to your clients. All right. Every framework that I teach is it's pretty much in here. All right. And they apply to all 6 pillars of your life: yourself, your fitness, your finance, your family, your fun, your education. I just took the roadmap and shifted it for sales. Last time we did a roadmap talking about for finance. I also take the roadmap, shifted to client program creation. So it's crazy how many places you can use the same roadmap framework and find success. All right. So with that being said, you also have any questions from me? Any questions, comments,
Woo!
concerns, any feedback while I'm here? I don't know how much more time we have.
Yeah, we got time. Ty, you're the man. Guys, Ty's in a position, published author, successful salesperson, 100%. You're still doing some stuff. I know MITM, but what was your fitness business called? Unleash the Beast, is that
Release the
correct?
Beast Fitness. Yeah. So the fitness
Release the
app is
Beast.
still
You're
doing
still
its thing.
working that.
Yes, sir. With Release the Beast is like, I have my ideal client, really skinny guys that want to build muscle because that's who I was. And it's mainly programs for them. So a lot of folks will find us online and we'll do it that there. But yeah, it's been literally I started doing online training from college. Yeah, wow. That's crazy. It's almost 10 years of doing online training. It's a great stream of income if you guys ever choose to go into that. Like a 3 weeks of input made me thousands of dollars. It's actually insane. Much more than that at this point. It's crazy.
But you're hustling because you have your hands in several ponds. So this is just the way it is, right?
Yeah. I like my goal is to maintain 7. I think I'm at like 4 or 5 right now because I'm trying to build things in a way where I have as much freedom as possible. So even now being at Good Life, I'm networking with the other trainers to write another book, but it's now a fitness focused book.
I have a question for you, and we'll just create some space for people if they did want to ask or pop one in the chat. I'm just wondering how you got started because I just thinking some of the people in the room who were where you are now, where you were 10 years ago, sorry, it may be hard to get started, spinning wheels, unsure. I think your roadmap, literally and figuratively, and the framework is like pretty easy to follow. And they're going to do a bit of work in a breakout room here about it just to understand it a bit better. But where did you get started? Like, how did you get started? Because it's hard to get started when you don't know where to begin, right?
Yeah. And honestly, the way I started out with a boutique gym. It's called Body by Chosen, right?
That was where we placed Ty. Ty got a
Yup,
job out of placement, right?
yup. I actually requested for them to be accepted so I could get placed there because I like that gym so much. I was like, these guys are so cool. So I started working at that boutique gym. Then I was doing the online training, switched over to a bigger box gym just to get the feel of what that was like. Then I opened up my own gym. Unfortunately, I opened it October 2019. Terrible time to open a gym. We did not make it through lockdowns. And then I pivoted from there. But what I would have done differently, I'm glad I did everything the way I did because I'm in the position I'm in now. But one thing that I would suggest for folks, especially coming out of college or university, try to pick a place that's going to continue to push your mental capacity when it comes to training clients. You don't go somewhere where it's going to be a little too easy, right? So you can sharpen your sword, sharpen your knowledge base even more, and take as many sales courses as you can as quickly as possible. Like maybe I'll actually add to that. I'll add to that folder that you guys are going to get access to. I'll share a bunch of sales books that I've read and programs that I've taken because they've 100% helped me level up all my sales, right? Insane, right? Even like Tony Robbins events that I was going to, like Phil Town, he's more into like investing, but there's sales things in there too, right? There's so much over the years that I've gathered that now it's pretty like sales are not easy. You just become better at them, but it gets so much easier where it's 50% conversion rate is insane from for especially cold leads, right? Yeah, that's how I got started where I'm at now. But yeah, I would tell you guys like really, you master sales, you can go into any field you want. It'll be just crazy. Yeah. How did you start online
How did you
coaching?
start online coaching? You can see it.
So the way I started online coaching, I literally so there's an app. It's called Trainerize, and there's lots of apps now. In fact, you could probably vibe code your own app. But what I did with it, I made a 1 year training program that was guided towards the younger version of me. So I was a really skinny kid, and it took me like 4 years to get buff. And I used that exact program I used on myself to then sell to other folks. I posted it on my Facebook, I posted it on my Instagram, I reached out to a lot of friends and family. It was all of 3 weeks of work that I got my first, what, like 10 to 15 clients, and they were paying like $400 to $600 a month. And it was crazy because after I launched everything, I went on vacation with my cousins to Jamaica, and I'm chilling on the beach and my phone kept buzzing, and the sound that it would make every time a sale went through was ka-ching, ka-ching, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is amazing. So for the next little bit, I was pretty much chilling on the online training wave, and this is before like a lot of other trainers were making fun of me for even talking about online training because they're like, no, in-person training is the only way to do it. I'm like, no, not really. It's not the same now as it was pre-lockdown because it got flooded with people. But if you really lean into your dream client, your ideal client persona, your ICP, which is normally a younger version of you can start to talk the language to cut through all the foolishness and attract the people you want to work with, right? That's how I got started, and that's like a tip of how you could get started, how you could start to build it out. Yeah, I hope I answered your question well.
But and to add some layers, Ty, correct me if I'm wrong. Ty does comedy, you MC as well, and like music, and he hosts like open mic nights. I don't know if you're doing that anymore, but Ty just hustles, man. It's just the grind is never ends. So it takes energy to do all of this. Not everything you're doing, but just to sell and to improve your self worth and
Yeah,
improve your sales, right? It
yeah,
takes effort, lots of
it
it.
does. Yeah, I've even I'd even say because the speaking thing is the one thing that's consistent throughout everything. Even when I was in college, I was terrified of speaking. Okay, I was terrified of it. But I don't know if you remember, almost every presentation that was a group presentation, I was a speaker. I thrust myself into that position on purpose. Where I'm like, nah, bro, I gotta talk. I gotta practice this. And the more you speak and the more you speak in front of crowds, the easier it gets. Even the music thing, it's hard to get on stage, and maybe your voice is not perfect and your voice cracks and it's embarrassing. But it's like, who cares? You get over it over time. So if you get good at public speaking, sales are like directly attached to that. But it's just one person you're talking to, right? One person you're sharing their story, you're hearing their what's happening in their lives, and you're just vibing and connecting, right? Yeah, there's a few different things that we enjoyed doing. Hopefully, you guys come out to the next comedy show. It's probably gonna be in June. But yeah, I think that wraps up for me. If there's no more questions, thank you guys for joining.
We appreciate you. I appreciate you. I'm glad that you had some continuity from your last presentation. And everybody has your info, I think. If not, I have it posted in the week 6 folder, so you can reach out to Ty when and if you need to. Maybe you got to dig into mentorships moving forward, man. We'll see. You got to maybe settle a couple other things first. Mentorships in the coming years. Who knows?
Who knows? It could be fun. We can make goals to change more lives. Right?
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me.